Things just got worse and worse and worse as the night went on. Again, valiant effort down the stretch for the Bucs. Just too little, too late. Let's go down and let's see what Coach Fletch and the rest of the crew has to say. As always, go Bulls. So let's head into the locker room right now and see what the guys have to say about that one. Wow. Where do the Buccaneers go from here? What an incredible atmosphere. What a good win for the Tampa Bay Lightning. They snapped a 7-game winning streak. How we feeling, Bucs Nation? It's time to party, baby.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Recher podcast, and it is certainly a victory Monday. It's a championship Monday right here on the program. What a freaking weekend. The last time I spoke to you, I was about to head on a plane to Cary, North Carolina, not knowing what my future held, and my goodness, the fortune favors the bold. And we'll discuss everything that happened over the last couple of days. But first, make sure you follow me on all social media platforms: Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, TikTok. I am everywhere at Recher. Like and subscribe on YouTube as well. If you're joining us for the first time, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Hit that notifications bell so every single time I go live here at noon, every weekday on the Recher podcast, you will get an alert. You will get a notification. I don't even have all of my UT people in the building yet, and we already have two of our big-time viewers, Dolan and DT, David Terry. Congrats to UT. A large chunk of the show. JD in the house, baby. Unbelievable. The champs are here, and we will speak to El Jefe, the great Joe Urso, the head coach of our University of Tampa baseball team, at 1 o'clock today. El Jefe in la casa. I cannot wait to chat with him. Championship number 10 for the Spartans. They stand atop of the mountain all alone, baby. Unbelievable performance. The greatest Division II baseball program in history. That is not hyperbole. That is not an opinion. That, my friends, is a fact. All right. That's not alone because, you know, I roll a little bit of everything on the program today. At 12:30, our guy Ian Beckles joins us for his weekly hit. We're going to talk about the Buccaneers. Hassan Reddick just saw news that he is in the building over there at One Buccaneer Place at the Advent Health Training Center. Hassan Reddick here in Tampa Bay. He's ready for mandatory minicamp. I will be there tomorrow, so make sure you follow me on social media. Cannot wait for that. Shout out to our friends at Pewter Report as well. At 4 o'clock today, Scott Reynolds, who is celebrating his 30th year covering the Buccaneers. Great write-up, pewterreport.com. Our pal Manny Matera wrote that on Scott. Go check them out, pewterreport.com. 4 o'clock today. They have Buccaneers general manager Jason Light. Go check them out. Tell them that you heard it right here on the Recher podcast. All right, so we got 12:30, Ian Beckles. 1 o'clock, Joe Urso. 1:30, Jordyn Listro, the captain of our Tampa Bay Sun. A huge win for them over the weekend. They go to the championship game Saturday night against Fort Lauderdale. Tampa Bay isn't just some weak, corny-ass moniker. We live it. We breathe it. The Tampa Bay Sun looking to capture the championship in the first ever season for the USL Super League. So Jordyn Listro, the captain of the Tampa Bay Sun, will join us on the program today. So yeah, it's a Tampa Bay edition. It's a victory Monday. It's a championship Monday. My guy Ethan Brown is in the building. Boogie Brown, a guy that I watched when I was calling games at USF. Now he's at UT. Hopefully he's got a shirt on, because the other day after the championship, this guy's walking around without a shirt on, making everybody feel bad. Hope you got a shirt on, my friend. I'll see you later on at the pig roast as well. We'll see if Ethan's Boogie Brown's got a shirt on, but that's what it's all about. We're going to get right into it right now. So for those of you who don't know, Friday, I had a decision to make, because the game that was originally supposed to be played Thursday night got rained out. They moved to Friday, 1 o'clock. So I have to make a decision. And I called my parents Thursday night. What do? Do I go to Cary, North Carolina? Do I go support the Spartans? I was there last year. I got to go again this year, right? But what happens if they don't win? I didn't even want to say that. I didn't even want to put it into the atmosphere, because that's how much confidence that I have in the Spartans. Coach Joe Urso, Sammy, Jose, the whole crew. So this is what happened. I booked a flight late Thursday night. I had faith in the boys. And I was like, all right, let's do this. So I do my show on Friday. My buddy Bill, Wild Bill, about as reliable. He's one of a kind, buddy. He's one of one. So I go to the hotel. I go to the airport. I go through security and I sit down. And as I sit down, Tampa's losing 2-0. Then Tampa's losing 4-0. And I go, oh, shit, man. So my flight's delayed like 20 minutes. And I go, if UT loses, I'm just going to go home. There's no reason to fly there for no reason, right? I wasn't going to go and pay all that money to come back. But if they were still playing, in my mind, I'm like, I still have to go. 5-0. I'm like, oh, shit. It's 5-0 in the 8th inning. And then Cole Russo. And you guys know how much I love the Russo family. Cole hits a solo home run in the 8th to make it 5-1. And I go, all right, I got to go. This is a sign from God. I have to go, right? So I walk over and I sit down right by the gate. Everybody's going on. And I'm like zone 1. I could have been the first person on the plane. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, all right, well, let's see what happens. They're taking a while to go on the plane. Top of the 9th, no runs. Middle of the 9th, commercial break on the stream. And the lady on the loudspeaker goes, last call for the Frontier flight to Raleigh. You have 36 seconds before the door closes. And I go, holy shit, man. What am I going to do? Look at my phone. Who walks across the screen? A kid that I've known since 5 years old, 6 years old, JD Erso. And as soon as it was JD that walked across the screen on my phone, I got my happy ass up and I said, Cole hit a home run. JD's walking across the screen. Jay Recher, you better get your ass on that plane and up to North Carolina. And it was great because my family group chat was going on. My mom and my sister, they're like, you don't want to miss a comeback. You better get on that plane. So I crossed the border from the Tampa airport onto that Frontier flight with the Tampa Spartans losing 5-1 in the 9th inning. So as I finally go, you walk down, you're waiting in line. As soon as I sit in my seat, boom, base hit, JD. I go, here we go. Woody comes up. Brave Woodburn, who was incredible this entire run. What a great kid, too. He hits a triple, 5-2. So there's like 20 minutes that we're just sitting there, and I'm like, because at that point, I'm thinking, I'm not going to find out the result of this game until I land in North Carolina. But for somehow, some reason, some way, we were stuck on the tarmac for like 20 minutes. Whatever. So I'm sitting there, I'm watching the game, and up strides Kevin Carstetter with 2 men on. UT losing by 3. And this dude takes a 2-0 pitch and hits it to freaking the highway to tie the game at 5-5. And I'm screaming on the plane, oh my God, I can't believe it. And there's people all around me looking at me like, what is wrong with this dude? They were like, do we have to call somebody to get this guy off the plane? I'm jacked up. I'm fist pumping. I'm slapping the seat in front of me. The person in front of me is pissed. They're like, what the hell is wrong with this guy? 5-5. I'm jacked up. I cannot believe it. It's incredible. So then a couple more runners on, an error, a walk, and then we start pushing back from the gate. We push back from the gate. We get on the runway. We start taking off. And as soon as we start taking off, an errant pickoff throw to first. And you're like, an errant pickoff throw to first? It's first and second. That ball's got to be in right field. Round comes Griffith to score the game-winning run. UT wins. Everybody's celebrating. As everybody's celebrating, the plane is lifting off. And my phone loses service. So my phone stops like with everybody like that. It was like Jordan Williams had like the weirdest like look on his face. It was the funniest thing ever. And I'm freaking out. I'm losing my mind. It was insane. I couldn't have been happier. I land in Raleigh. I get there. I get off the plane. I get in an Uber and I go, hey, I got to get – the game got pushed from 6 to 6:30. I get there. I have my bag. The guy's like, hey, you got anything in that bag? As I try to walk in, I'm like, you have any liquor in there? I'm like, dude, I got underwear and socks in here and a couple of UT t-shirts. You can rifle through that. I don't care, man. I'm here. I put stock in my guys that they were going to do it. And that's exactly what they did. And they won the game. So I go, hey, at the very least, I'm going to get a chance to watch game 1 of this 3-game series against Central Missouri. And shout out to Northwest Nazarene, who UT beat in that game. That team was playing their ass off. They did unbelievable in that game. So I get there, and it was so cool to be able to, like, I get there to that game and be able to watch that game. Just like, I couldn't like decompress. I couldn't just like let down. It was just so strange, right? So UT ends up losing game 1 to Central Missouri in a hard-fought battle, 9-8. UT actually comes back in the last inning, down 3. Villegas hits a home run. They find a way to make it a game. They lose by 1. And Central Missouri was fantastic. What a great team, a great program. Their catcher, Chase Heath, that dude was a monster behind the dish. He could swing it, and all class. Saw him dap up Jordan Williams before one of the games and take time for the pitcher. Saw him after the World Series, show some love to Cole Russo. I actually went up to the kid and said, dude, you handled yourself with all. You made a fan of me, Central Missouri, and the whole Mules family and program. Unbelievable. I could not give you higher marks and regards for the way you carried yourself and the way you played. I love that team. I'll be keeping an eye on them for the rest of my life because of how they carried themselves and how they played this entire time against Tampa, just in the whole World Series as a whole. So UT loses that game, and we go back to the hotel. Me, Wayne and Selena Grouse, the Grouse family, who I remember back to my North Tampa days when we won the World Series as 11-year-olds, and love the entire Grouse family. So great to see their son Austin with the Spartans, and our pal Pat Russo. And Pat, Cole's dad, and our good buddy Paul's brother, and again, the Russo family, they mean everything to me. I wasn't upset at all about game 1 because this is how UT has done it all year. Down 8-1 to, Mississippi College a couple weeks ago, down 5-1 in the 9th inning. You thought they were going to win the first 2 games of this best of 3 World Series? Not going to happen. No way. I wasn't worried one bit. Now, game 2, the very next day, they go down 4-0 in the first inning. I kept telling myself, long game. And of course, they had one thing that Central Missouri didn't, and that is Nico freaking Saladino. 4 for 6, 6 RBIs. All 4 of his hits brought in a run. Like, isn't that think about that? He had 6 RBIs, which is wild. He was 4 for 6. He didn't just hit a grand slam and then a 2-run double or anything. He had an RBI for each one of his hits. That's how big he was in helping UT win that second game. Go check my Twitter feed. I've got videos of each one. And I absolutely love the Saladino family. You guys know I've spoken about them for so long. The great Tony, the legend. He's one of my best friends. He's 89 years old. And just to be able, and go watch those videos on Twitter and to see Tony watch his grandson get those hits. I mean, you see the rest of this, Tony Sherrill and the rest of the Saladinos freaking out too. But to see our guy, Tony Saladino, again, at 89 years young, and the emotion on his face. Oh my God, man. Like, that's movie shit right there. It's unbelievable. And I can't spend enough time with my guy, Tony, just to be able to talk to him, just be able to be around him. Like, he just makes me feel better as a person. And he is. I think he's like one of my best friends. Like, I'll spend time every time. I said this last night. I've walked past major leaguers and city council members and people with millions of followers. I don't care who you are. Maybe mom and dad too. Sorry, mom and dad. They met Tony too, but I'll make a beeline for Tony every single time I see him. No doubt about it. I love that guy. Tiger Cheryl, again, the whole family, love you guys. But to be able to see Nico, who, again, I've watched a ton of his career, be able to come up that big to help Tampa win 10-8 to force a deciding game 3. Oh, my God. Incredible. And shout out to Jake Stipp. He threw 7 innings in that game. He gave up 4 in the first and just put up zeros after zeros after zeros after. Unbelievable. That's all I kept saying yesterday. Unbelievable. Game 3, you knew the rain was coming. Let's jump out to a lead. That's exactly what they did. Eli Thurman on the bump. And one thing I love about Eli Thurman, right? This is another example of good things happening to good people, right? I've seen Eli a lot, and every single time, like, even when he's not on the mound, like, he's around, he's bringing water to the umpires, he's bigging up his teammates, is one of the first people out there. I'm sure he would probably want to pitch more innings this year, But dude, you started the championship game for your team, right? And you pitched your ass off. That's a great example. Baseball's such a great analogy to life, man, where, things can go wrong, right? You just have to stick with it. You got to stay with it. You never know when your number is going to get called. That kid goes out there and leaves it all on the line and gives up one unearned run in 4 in the third innings. I can't say enough things about great things about Eli Thurman and what he was able to do. And then, it's Johnny Holstaff. You're piecing it together here and there and so many different pitching changes. I mean, I can't imagine what those conversations were like between Joe Urso and Sammy Militello about this guy and that guy and this guy. And I'm like, that's crazy to me. It's wild. But they had to do it. They had to find a way. And then you get to a point where it's 5-1 after the rain delay. And here comes Central Missouri. 2 home runs, a solo, and a 2-run shot to make it 5-4 in the 8th inning. And right now, everybody, and shout out to, hey, there he is, Vince Scaniel up there in Cooperstown listening with our Hit Factory team. I'll be back with Hit Factory this summer. Shout out to Coach Vince and everybody up there. And listen, you want to talk about making your dreams come true. There was a couple of Hit Factory guys that ended up being on this team with Maddox King and Cole Russo and Austin Grouse. So all of you Hit Factory guys, man, you're on the right path. Just keep doing it. Your journey is never going to be continuously forward. You're going to have right moves, left moves, take a step back. You're going to deal with injuries. You're going to deal with setbacks. It's how you overcome those obstacles. That's why we put so much stock in baseball, why we love this freaking sport, is because you can overcome. I said this to JD a couple weeks ago. Baseball is about resilience and redemption. You don't always get that in sports. You don't always get that in life. But baseball has a funny way of giving you just another crack at it, giving you another chance. Even if you strike out, bro, don't worry about it. You'll come back up. And that leads me to what happened in the 8th inning. Before that, Cole came up and he grounded out to first. And before that, I said that could be his last at-bat as a college baseball player. And he grounded out to first. I'm like, I can't end like that, can it? So you're going to the bottom of the 8th inning. You're like, damn, they need some more insurance runs. They need more, right? Here comes Woody again. Woody with a big hit. I mean, that doesn't get talked about enough because of what happened after that. I think we understand why, but Woody with a big hit to give some more breathing room. And then here comes Cole after a hit by pitch to Edgardo Villegas. Here comes the bases loaded. And here comes Cole Russo. And mind you, the entire time I'm watching game 2 and game 3 with his mom, Trisha, his stepdad, AB, Adrian Bush. Oh, I didn't even mention what happened that morning. We'll get into that in a second. All right, no, we got to get to it now before we get to the Cole thing. So the reason why I also had confidence, I can't believe I forgot this part. The reason why I had confidence going into game 2 and game 3 is because Saturday morning, AB, Adrian Bush, the soccer coach at UT, another great friend of mine, we go to Starbucks to get coffee and breakfast for everybody. And right before we walk into Starbucks, a bird shit on me. Yeah. I'm like, what is that on my hand? I look at my hand. I'm like, what is it? It's not raining, is it? And then I look down on my shorts, bird poop. And a lot of people would have been like, disgusting. My initial thoughts were, this is great. This means that they're going to win today. So we walk into Starbucks and I'm just like, I'm sitting there. I'm happy. Isn't that crazy? You get happy, you get crapped on. I walk in and the guy's like, hey, can I take your order? I'm like, yeah, 1 second. And I'm like, I got to use the bathroom real quick. And he's like, yeah, are you going to order something? I'm like, dude, give me 5 seconds. I promise you, I'm going to order something. I just got crapped on by a bird. Can you give me a minute? Let me go clean up and I come back. I promise you I'll order you. I'll leave you my card right now. Please just give me a bump. Give me a second. Okay. And the guy's like, all right. So I go in there and I'm like washing this thing off and I'm smiling from ear to ear. I'm like, there's no way these guys are going to lose today. I just got crapped on by a freaking male husky woodpecker. That's the bird. I didn't see the bird, but that's what I'm gonna say it is, because the male, I think, husky woodpecker has like a red streak on it. It's a black and white bird with the red streak on it. For the sake of this story, for the UT colors, I'm gonna go with the male husky woodpecker. So I'm happy, right? Fast forward to game 3, 8th inning again. I'm standing next to AB, and Adrian and Trisha and the whole Russo family. Saladino's behind us. Everybody's everywhere, and we're going crazy, right? Because here comes Cole. It is probably going to be his last at-bat in college, right? It's 7-5. You need, right? Wait, was it 7-5? 3, 4, 5, 9. It was 9-5 or 9-4, 9-4. Yeah, because they got one at the end. 7-4. There you go, 7-4. It was 7-4, and you're like, we know what Central Missouri is all about. We know that this team is going to battle their ass off to the very end, and they're probably going to score one in the 9th inning. So we need more. We need Cole to come up with a big swing here. And that's exactly what he did. Cole hit a ball so freaking far that I think it may have dented a windshield on the highway. I mean, to be around somebody's family like that and to be able to see him come up big and see the emotion on people's faces, like Joe and the whole crew talk about family, like that's what it's all about. That's no BS moniker. That's not something that they make up. It's real. And I took a video and to see everybody's reaction, and Pat was off in the distance hugging people, pick him up, and Cole's going around he took 40 seconds. Listen, 40 seconds around the bases. Cole took a sweet ass time. Bro, your last AB in college, I ain't hating on you, buddy. You hit a ball that freaking far and you put a stamp on your team winning the national championship, the final nail in the coffin. I got no issues with you, bro. Have fun. Celebrate that damn thing. Being there in that moment is something that I'll take with me to my deathbed. Again, the Russos mean the world to me. They always treat me like family. And it's so crazy how everything has come together with this team, right? Because they had their flaws, right? But just like the families that were involved, I've said this before, you can't write the story of baseball in Tampa without the Ersos, the Russos, and the Saladinos. Like it's impossible. 3/4 of your starting infield. And then you get to the 9th inning, and here comes this maniac, CJ Williams, who pitched in all 3 games. First game, over 100 pitches. He pitches out of the bullpen in the second and the third game. You want to talk about cojones, the stones, bro? I tip my hat to you, young man. Give me the ball. I love that. What a beast. He goes out there for the 9th, and of course, Central Missouri gets a run. They get 2 outs. And a pop-up goes in the air, left-handed batter, and who catches it but JD Urso? Because of course it had to be JD. All those years, JD watching his dad win all those national championships. Now it's time for JD to get a ring. Now it's time for Cole to get a ring. I mean, think about that. Both of those guys playing at the schools that their dads played at. All that history that they had was a history that, you almost had like through osmosis, right? You were part of it. You'll always be part of the UT family because of your family and your dads, right? But now you make your own history. To see people move to tears, to see all the people in the field. Like, I'll never forget, Jordan Williams and Maddox King and Villegas in the outfield and Erso and Saladino and Woodburn and Cole Russo, the Uruguayan and behind the plate and Williams. Like, I'll remember that lineup for my life forever. But it wasn't just them. It was everybody on the bench, even at here. Mike Valdez Carstetter goes down on a freak injury, not touching first base. Hope you're okay, Kev. Here comes Valdez coming up early in that game 3. Cole lays down a bunt. How many guys have a sacrifice bunt and a grand slam in their final college game? Not many. But here comes Mike Valdez. Comes in, pea shooter over the second baseman's head. Pew! RBI single. That guy was ready when his number was called. There were so many different contributions and so many different people that played a part in UT winning this World Series. That's why when you talk about family just isn't selective. It's everybody. Everybody. The families, the donors, the coaching staffs, the wives, right? I mean, Think about Julie Urso and what she has done over the years in supporting Joe and supporting this program. She's everywhere. If you watch the games, you can hear her. She does not let up. Her family, right? Her mom and dad, everybody. Preston, Joe's other son that we had on last week, like everybody that's watching right now. Tampa baseball is about family. It's not just about the 9 guys on the field. It's not just about the guys on the roster, about the coaching staff. It's everybody that went up there. Presidents of the university, athletic directors, Tom. I saw Tom and his family out there as well. I mean, it's to watch that, to be a part of that. It was insane. It was great. And another thing too, and this is a little personal, but I just think this is a way of, we have so many things that divide us in this country. Cole's mom and dad, Pat and Trisha, Trisha's been remarried, to AB, just to see everybody come together and just their relationship is so strong, and the way that they all support Cole, like that support system, like a modern family, right? Things happen, relationships happen, things change, people change, different relationships are formed. But at the end of the day, it's about the kids. It is about the kids, and the way that everybody was able to be there to support Cole. It's just something that it'll live with me. I can't. And then, of course, like after the championship game, we're going back to the hotel, and Joe Urso with the speech of a lifetime. I'm not going to post it here because it's 3 minutes that I'm not taking my show to play a thing that's gone viral on the internet. There's over 80,000 views of Joe Urso's speech at Recher. Go check it out on all of my social media platforms. And he talks about family and all of those things. And just that's what it is right there. In 3 minutes, that's what it is. To be able to spend time with Joe after the championship, to be able to spend time with Tony Saladino and all the pictures that I took, and the great Mark Jones was there, Russell Bruno, Billy Frankie. Like, there was just so many different people that I got to sit down and share and time with Coach Rosie, and it just taking pictures with Jose and Sammy. That seems to be a recurrence that we're going to have to do every year, guys. We're going to have to go to lunch at Outback again before the season like we did this year. Congratulations to the University of Tampa. Again, 10th national championship, number 1 all-time in Division II baseball, breaking that tie with Florida Southern. It couldn't happen to a better program, couldn't happen to better people. There's just, again, so many analogies about sports that you can take and about baseball, right? And this team, like, you have to have faith. You got to have faith when nobody else does. And I'm so glad that I crossed that line. I'm so glad that I got up and took a chance. And I said this on Friday before I got off the air. Anytime in your life you have an opportunity to go to a game, or go see your favorite player, or go see your favorite band, or just you have to decide yes or no. Like, what am I going to do, right? Always go. Always go. I don't care if you're a kid watching this or you're an adult doing it. You're never too old, right? You have an opportunity to go somewhere or do something. Like, you'll make that money back, right? I'm not saying do something that's going to bankrupt you and knock you out of your car and out of your house. But if you have the money to be able to do something, travel somewhere, always go. You live one time. Just imagine if I didn't go. All that I would have missed. I would have missed the incredible comeback. I would have missed getting crapped on by a bird. I would have missed these incredible memories with these people. And don't tell me that your friends can't become family, right? Because as much as I love my family, every day, it's the hardest part about living in Tampa. I love it here. I've been here 20 years. The hardest part about being here is not being with them every day, and not seeing my nieces play softball, or my nephew play soccer, right? That's the hardest part. But the best part is that the people that I have met have become family. The family that I've chosen. The Ursos, the Russos, the Saladinos, University of Tampa baseball. I love you all. Congratulations. The great Joe Urso joins us at 1:00. Another person that has gone from friend to a family member is this young man right here, the great Ian Beckles. What's going on, buddy? How are you?
I'm just listening to you making getting crapped on by a bird sound glamorous. That's all I'm. That's all I'm doing.
Did you hear that story?
No, I just heard the back end of it.
So UT loses. UT loses game 1 of 3 in the championship game on Friday night. So Saturday they got to win 2 to win it all. And we go to breakfast, and as we walk into Starbucks, I'm like, "What the hell is that?" I got crapped on by a bird. So I go, "Bro, this is good luck. This is good luck. They're gonna win." And they ended up winning both games and winning the national championship. The only other time in my life I got crapped on by a bird, it was the first day of 7th grade. I had a brand new white St. John's Red Storm hat on. I'm walking to the bus stop, and a bird crapped right on the middle of my hat. You know me, I looked at my hat, and I turned around, and I walked right home. And my mom goes, "What's wrong?" I go, "A bird just crapped in my head. I am not going to school today." She's like, "You bet your ass you're going to school today." And that was just, the hat was never the same. But I mean, I always joked around that, yeah, okay, people could say getting crapped on is a good thing, because how could your day get possibly any worse than having somebody poop on you? But listen, the proof is in the pudding. It's just the way it goes. How are things over there, buddy?
Everything's good, bro. Smooth. Everybody, it's just a chill Monday to this point.
You got that right. Isn't that funny? The UT wins their 10th national championship. We had them in studio with you and Ron a couple of years ago, and Joe Urso won one as a player back when you were a member of the Bucs. Like, it seems like you've been here the entire time that Sammy and Joe have been successful at UT. It's pretty wild.
What baffles me, and listen, I'm not dogging UT, because UT has turned himself into almost a Division I baseball squad. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
What's amazing is that he's still here. I mean,
Right.
that shows you the dedication and the love that he has for that university, because I'm pretty sure he's got some offers to go elsewhere, and he's still here winning championships. So we are very blessed.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And I know he was in contention for the USF job last year, but listen, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And the whole crew over there, Joe, Sammy, Jose, and the entire crew, we send you guys a ton of love. Back tomorrow, mandatory minicamp starts for the Buccaneers. Very exciting because it's like we're getting a little bit, you're looking for these check marks on the offseason. Like we get closer. And breaking news a little while ago, Hassan Reddick in the building for the Buccaneers. He'll be there tomorrow. So all those people that were bitching and moaning and complaining, we said as long as he's here when he's supposed to be here, everything should be fine. So, I mean, that's a step in the right direction for our Buccaneers, no doubt.
I mean, I guess if that's breaking news, I guess that's good. I mean, other organizations are worried about who's their quarterback and who's this and that. And it's breaking news that, our new free agent pass rusher is showing up. So I guess it's good, because in the past, there's been turmoil here in Tampa land. We've gone through a lot of different regime changes. And right now, there's not a lot of turmoil. And you don't win championships during turmoil. And right now, things are pretty calm, and I think that's a good thing.
Yeah, I was thinking about that too. It's hard enough to win when everybody's on the same page. But then when you have this fly in the ointment of a player that's supposed to be here or a player that's not supposed to be here, or coaching and not knowing who your quarterback is, like, it's so hard to win in the National Football League, Ian. And right, like, that's why I think there's one part of when you look at football, you go, that's why there's only a handful of teams that can win. I mean, think about how well run the Baltimore Ravens are. They haven't won a championship with Lamar Jackson, but they draft well. They built their offense around this guy. They got really good players on defense, and they can't even win the Super Bowl the last couple of seasons. Buffalo Bills are another team. So it's hard enough. And I feel like for you, is this the quietest the Buccaneers have been probably in the last couple of years when it comes to the offseason?
Well, I mean,
as far as drama-wise, being
quiet as far as the drama is awesome. Being quiet is not always good, okay? Sometimes you want to cause a ruckus and you want to shake some things up. I don't know if this team needed shaking up. The team's going to be very close to what it was last year, and I know we've talked about this before. Everybody always talks about the new guys, and the long and short of it is, the guys that are still here need to get better, okay? In order for the Buccaneers to take it to another level, our 2 inside defensive tackles need to get better. Our defensive backs need to get better. We need to get more from our tight end. We need to continually get more from our receivers, who are going to be kind of a question mark because of age and injury. Our offensive line, like, listen, I've been a Buccaneer fan since 1990, and I'm not sure I've ever said from 1990 till now, and this will be the first time I've ever said it, the Bucs offensive line is the strength of the team, period. Like, you could build around the Bucs offensive line, and I don't know if I've ever said that before.
You've been asking for that, though.
Hell, but wait, listen. I'm a coach. I coach Chamberlain football. I coach offensive line. One of the first speeches I give to my kids is this: if we're good, the rest doesn't matter. If you have a good offensive line, I could put you behind them, Jay. You'll get 4 or 5 yards a pop, maybe 3 because you're not that fast. But if you have a great offensive line, whoever's back there running, it's fine. Now, it'd be nice to have a Barry Sanders or, a Walter Payton or whoever it may be, but you could have any schlep back there with a great offensive line and still be a great running team. The Denver Broncos did it in the 90s with whoever, okay? It was Terrell Davis, it was Orlandis Gary, and it was Clinton Portis, and whoever they put in there was getting 1,500 yards. So that's not greatness, and those running backs were great, but you put them on the Buccaneers in the 90s, and they weren't going to get no 1,500 yards, that's for sure.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I'm excited about the Buccaneers mandatory minicamp and to see, kind of what that whole thing is all about. Metallica was playing actually at Ray J. Have you ever seen them live?
I have not. Metallica is one of those groups for me, Jay. I like them. I really do. But I don't know much about them. It's one of those things where when I hear a song, I go, who is that? It's Metallica. I go, damn. Like, I'm just going to add a song to the songs that I love from Metallica. So I'm positive I could have gone there and enjoyed myself. Mm-hmm. Not in that damn heat, though. That ain't happened. No way.
No doubt about it. All right, we got to mention it because he just signed. Your guy finally signed with the Steelers, baby. Aaron Rodgers.
The great Aaron Rodgers. And listen, I'm sure there's Steeler fans out there listening. I don't know. I don't know if it's worse to go into a season with Aaron Rodgers as your quarterback or Mason Rudolph as your quarterback. I'll be honest with you. Because I really don't see any scenario where this works. Have you heard the ruckus already? His teammates are like, we didn't want him. Okay, so like the main dudes before he got there, we don't want him. So I don't see any way that works, Jay. I really don't. Because and the Pittsburgh Steelers, we're talking about coaches and tenures, and like I hear some Steeler fans asking for Mike Tomlin's head. Watch what you ask for, because if Mike Tomlin leaves, everything changes, and you got to kind of reshuffle the cards. And sometimes when you reshuffle the cards, you come up 5-12. So for me, the Pittsburgh Steelers have always been a signature. They had a signature look and feel. I think they're starting to lose it a little bit, and the whole team concept is out the door when your quarterback's Aaron Rodgers, because he ain't no team dude. He never has been.
All right, so let me ask you that too, because that's an interesting question, right? So you look at the Pittsburgh Steelers, and I'm with you. I've always lauded the old school NFL franchises that go back, that are owned by, the same families, right? Like the Packers and the Steelers, whether you're fans of them or not, it's like they travel so well. Doesn't matter where you are. So and I'm with you. Like I think different isn't always better, right? People think, oh, get him out of here. We're not getting to the promised land, so we get somebody. Well, you're at least making the playoffs or around 500. Be careful what you wish for. But on the other hand, Ian, you talk about how this team is getting farther and farther away from the identity of the Steelers. Doesn't Mike Tomlin have to wear that a little bit? Because, after a while, and I can understand, like, the GM has to do his job too, but he's also in those meetings. He's also in those conversations. It's not like he's persona non grata and he doesn't know anything about, the draft capital or the free agency or the trades. Like, he plays a part in that too, right? He's got a voice in those rooms. That's well documented. So how do we balance that out of respecting the hell out of the man? He's a great coach, but if you're a team that's losing that Steeler identity, doesn't he have to wear a little bit of it? I'm not saying 85% of it, but he's got to attribute to some of that because he was dealing with some of these guys. He has had them on the team.
Listen, when Tony Dungy left or was fired, I said it was time for him to go, because sometimes you could overstay your welcome, and sometimes your message falls on deaf ears. I don't think that's the case with Mike Tomlin, because if Mike Tomlin gets fired tomorrow, he'll have a job yesterday. Okay, so, and Tony Dungy was the same thing. Second, Tony Dungy got fired. He didn't get fired because he wasn't a good coach. He got fired because it just wasn't working. To say it's not working for Mike Tomlin is really almost like saying it's not working here in Tampa Bay, okay, with Todd Bowles, because if making the playoffs is not working, boy, there's a lot of cities will say, screw you, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, because making the playoffs is hard. You were talking earlier about winning championships. It's hard to make it to the damn playoffs, okay?
Right.
And it's hard to make it to the playoffs year after year after year. And then to win a championship, there's a little bit of luck in that, okay? And there's the coach can only coach so much, okay? When everybody always says this in every sport, just get in. So when you're getting in, don't fire your coach, yo. Like I'm even talking about the Knicks. And listen, the thing is, we don't know what's happening behind closed doors. All right? We don't know if Thibodeau was flipping off the GM. We don't know any of that. But as a fan, you got to think, wow, we got pretty damn close with this guy. We're going to change a guy. And something has to change. And it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to get better. So we'll see. And this Mike Tomlin, I think, is getting to a point now where if he has a mediocre season, he might step down. I think he might step down because eventually it would have to get old for him too, and maybe it's time for him to check and see if he can win somewhere else.
I guess that's the balance, right? Because you look at, kind of both sides of the argument, right? Tom Thibodeau took this team as far as they've gone. Why get rid of a guy? But like you just said, like you knew it was time to go when it was Tony Dungy, and they were getting close, right? Yeah. It wasn't like they were sucking, right? He came, and sometimes you have to make that move. Sometimes it's messed up. But let's not forget, Mark Jackson did a damn good job in Golden State. And then it was Steve Kerr, the guy that brought him over the line. And now he's going to be a Hall of Fame coach. So sometimes there's coaches that in that, and it doesn't mean that they're always going to be like this, but sometimes there's coaches with one certain group, there's a ceiling to, I think, where they can get them. And then sometimes somebody else has to put the finishing touches, right? Yep. It doesn't mean that guy is going to be able to do that somewhere else. Nobody better example than that than John Gruden. John Gruden took almost like this entire cake and was like, all right, well, we're going to do this. We're going to add this layer, and these are the decorations. Boom, you got yourself the best cake in the land, right? But if you're asking him to come up with the recipe and the insides and the filling and all that stuff, that's where I think he's had his troubles after leaving Tampa Bay. So there's a lot that goes into the recipe of a successful team. And I just saw a report that it said that the Pittsburgh Steelers, Aaron Rodgers was the third choice. It was Matthew Stafford, Justin Fields, and then Aaron Rodgers. We'll see how it all plays out. Week 1's going to be wild. Steelers, Jets, Fields against his old team, Aaron Rodgers against his old team. Can't wait to see that. It's pretty wild. Sometimes these schedules, when the schedules come out, sometimes you're like, what the hell? And then it all ends up working in a way, right? Where I don't know how the NFL does it, man, but they find a way to make sure that the best games are on the TV at the right time. What do you remember about mandatory minicamp? Kind of the first time going back to camp, what was the hardest thing for you as an NFL offensive lineman when, it was like, all right, this is the first step of mandatory minicamp before you took that time off, before things really got rolling?
Well, it depends what year it is. I mean, my rookie year, mandatory minicamp was a big deal. I mean, that's the first time you're getting exposed. I believe we had a rookie camp first. So then when you go to rookie camp, you're just playing against the guys you were playing against last year.
Right.
So it's not that shocking. But when the big boys come in, it's like, the defensive lineman. I remember Willie Wyatt was a defensive lineman. He was 5'11", 275. And we had a couple other young guys in here. And when the veterans came in, and Pig Goff and Reuben Davis came in, I was like, yeah, look at them big, mean-looking cats, So, you want to get through this. The time between these mini camps and training camp goes the fastest time on the planet. Like, some things go real slow, some things go real fast. Once these mini camps are over, training camps are on the horizon, you're going to blink your eyes and training camp's going to be here. So this is kind of it's almost the beginning of the season. Once these mandatory mini camps end, it's almost like the season started because the rest of it goes real, real quick.
How would you handle Chris Godwin if you were the Buccaneers? I mean, obviously, terrible injury last year, but as much as it questioned, right, you're getting Emeka Egbuka with that first pick, you have a bunch of wide receivers. For me, I look at it and go, take your sweet time, right? There's no reason. And We saw the story. There was a story that just came out. He would have made $30 million, I think, with New England. Settles for a deal, I think, 22 per here. But it's more than just the money. Obviously, the taxes help. The no state income tax, but also the safety and just the knowledge of playing here in the Tampa Bay area and not feeling like you have to rush back. Where if he played New England, he might feel pressure to play week one to justify that contract, to be wide receiver one, to be out there not just for himself, but also for Drake May and some of those other young wide receivers. I feel like the Buccaneers are in no rush to be able to get Chris Godwin, and I think that's going to be better for them in the long run. What say you?
First of all, I don't know if there's a big difference between 30 million and 22 million there and here. I think they're about the same. When you talk cost of living, state tax, the whole not having to move, having to buy another house, they're about the same. Like that's a big number, but when you pluses and minuses, it's about the same. As far as how do you handle Chris Godwin, listen to Chris Godwin. Yeah. Because nobody's going to want to be on the field more than Chris Godwin. Just listen to him, because there's a fine line between babying somebody and getting somebody ready, okay? The NFL is already babying these players. So if you don't allow Chris Godwin to even get the minimal reps that these guys are getting, he ain't going to be ready. So football's a tough, long season, 17 weeks. And I'll be honest with you, Jay, I don't know how these guys play 17 weeks without playing any preseason games, because I played the majority of preseason games, and then I didn't find myself in football shape till week 5, week 6. So not playing at all in the preseason, you can't get yourself ready for a 60-play game. It's impossible. So you want to make sure not to do anything stupid with Chris Godwin, but you want to make sure he's ready too, because you can't. Once the season starts, we don't have the luxury of waiting for him to get better. I mean, he's got to be out there week 1, and he's got to be Chris Godwin.
Yeah, and I think that's again, it comes down to balance, right? Like anything in life. You don't want these guys to get hurt in meaningless preseason games, but you also have to get into game. What is game shape? And that's a good point. That's something, or a good question that somebody only you and I speak about this a lot of, these guys that never played in the NFL and they have all these great opinions. Yep. These guys that have never picked up a baseball, but they, the fan graph says this. And it's just like, what the fuck? That has nothing to do with the conversation. This is a question that only somebody that played in the NFL could answer. What is getting into game shape? What is that, right? Why would you have to play in the preseason to get you ready? Is it getting used to a hit? Like, is it building that kind of thing? Is it just like the air, the wind? Like, as far as what is getting into NFL shape?
First of all, Jay, I've worked with you personally. That's a great question, because I don't think I've ever been asked that before. I don't know if I've ever heard anybody ask it before to anybody. It's a great question, because we hear this in the media all the time. He's in the best shape of his life. So
what shape is gym shape?
Yeah, right? Well, that's what they're talking about. Mm-hmm. I looked at him. Ron was good at that. Look at him. He's in great shape. So, okay, because you know what happens when the off season goes, you get yourself in the best shape you've ever been in your life. You're ripped. I wasn't ripped, but you're feeling good about yourself. You're in great shape. You feel like you're strong. Everything's great. And the first day of 9-on-7 starts, and the third play, your tongue is on the ground. Mm-hmm. Okay? There's no possible way to simulate football. That's not true. There's no way to simulate trench football. You can simulate wide receiver football. Mm-hmm. It's going to be a little different because the pads on. It's going to be a little different. But how are you going to simulate blocking Vita Vea? What are you going to do? You're going to run into a building? What are you going to do? There's nothing to do. Like, you can hit a sled. The sled ain't hitting back. You can lift weights all day, but it's not blocking Vita Vea. And the one thing you can simulate in the off season, okay, is mentality, is that feeling of competing. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. It's just once you're out there and it's full tilt, it's adrenaline. Right? Mm-hmm. Adrenaline is the main word there, because like somebody will say, "Oh, I'm in great shape." Okay, I'm a baseball player. I'm in great shape. Put him in a boxing ring. Or basketball player, I'm in great shape. Put them on a football field. They're completely different. Right. So every sport is unique, and you there's really no way to get yourself in football shape, because to play 60 plays and block Reggie White and block John Randall and block Vita Vea, whoever it is, that's going to be a shock the first time for sure.
Yeah, I think about those different things of guys. Oh, he's in the best shape of his life. Third play at training camp, he pulls his hamstring. You're like, it doesn't matter if you look good in the gym. And like we see it in baseball all the time. This guy's throwing well. He's taking care of his arm. He's building up. 20 pitches, 40 pitches, 60 pitches. The first time he goes out there in spring training, boom, guy's got an arm injury. He's out for 6 weeks. And it's just like, I thought he was in the best shape of his career. You don't know. There's nothing to simulate the adrenaline. There's not, when you go one-on-one with somebody, even at any level, it's different. It's different. And especially when the lights are shining bright and when you're playing as a professional, I mean, it's got to be wild. What's going on at the Dignitary Cafe, my friend?
Well, my girl Sandy's coming back Friday and Saturday, and she's going to be, the food truck's going to be here every Friday and Saturday. So anybody who loves Cajun food, I think it's the best Cajun food in the Tampa Bay area. And other than that, we just rocking and rolling, baby.
Bro, get the shrimp and grits. I mean, there's just so many great options there. But Ian said to me, it's the best shrimp and grits I ever had. And I go, ooh, that's a big statement from my guy, Ian Beckles, the foodie that he is. And I ate the whole thing. I sat at the Dignitary Cafe. People were talking to me. And I was just like, I wasn't listening to a word. And Johnny B was saying a bunch of stuff. I love Johnny B. And he was talking to me. And I was like, man. And not shrimp and grits. You're getting 2 pieces of scrimps either. I mean, unloading on it. It is insane. So go check them out. Dignitary Cafe, 4817 Southwest Shore Boulevard. Go get you some Cava. Go get you some Craydon. And
I got one question.
Shoot.
Who are the 2 right guards ahead of me?
I have Ali Marpet.
Coleman.
Ali Marpet.
Well, Ali played
left guard. He was left guard.
I'll give you Koji Coleman and who was the one with dreads? I'm gonna give you that one.
You said him the other week.
Donald. Nice dude.
Not Donald Penn.
No.
Oh God, you just said his name. That's why I can't remember.
I know. Nice dude. I think he had an issue. One of his children died or something like that.
It wasn't Alex Kappa.
No. I'm better. I played more than Alex Kappa.
Alex Kappa.
My boy with the dreads was better than me, but okay, I could take third.
Cody Mount. It's funny. I put 4th, and then I limited it down to put 3rd.
Watch your mouth.
I'm gonna do a different thing every week. It's gonna be fun. Follow him, Ian_Beckles. Beck, appreciate you, brother. I'll talk to you later this week.
One love, kid.
All right, buddy. Good stuff as always from our guy Ian Beckles. He is the man. Fun stuff here on the program. Make sure you follow me at Recher. Joe Urso is going to join us at 1:00, so stick with us. Our UT family. How about those Rays, man? I know I was going to mention a little bit before, but the Rays with a big 2 out of 3 win. Really, Davin Joseph. That was the guy. Thank you, guys. And you know what's funny? Because Ian said that the other week. If Ian didn't mention him a couple weeks ago, I would have known the name right off the bat. Because he mentioned it, there's like that block in your head, like, oh no, Ian just mentioned it. It's Davin Joseph. Thank you very. He's probably gonna watch. He's gonna text me in like 5 minutes. Watch. It's crazy. All right. So Rays, big wins, 2 out of 3. Here's the thing. People were asking, all right, how do you look at this Rays team? What's the difference between like a good loss and a bad loss? See, when you lose like you did this weekend in that game on Saturday, you're going to take a loss like that because it's a long season. You win Friday 4-3. You win Sunday 3-2, 1-run ball games. You want to be able to win those games, right? Saturday, you lose a 1-run ball game, 11-10, extra innings. You come back. Christopher Morel shows some incredible offensive outbursts. That's great. Evan Longoria Day. Longo shows a lot of, everybody shows a lot of love to Longo. If you missed my interview with Joe Madden and the content that he put out or what he had to say about Evan Longoria, that's up on my social media at Recher. But that is a weekend that you're going to take. You win 2 of 3 after sweeping the Rangers. You're up in Boston against the Red Sox. They're going to be flying high after winning 2 of 3 against the Yankees. This is a big 6-game road trip. 3 in Boston, day off on Thursday, 3 in Queens against the Mets. But I'll take a loss like Saturday because they gave it everything they had. They battled back. They tied the game. They took it to extras. You don't expect them to win every game. But when they lose and they're futile and there's no punch and not great. But I like that. This team is showing heart. They're showing resilience. They're pitching it. They're playing good defense. They're hitting. No issues from what I've seen. so far from the Tampa Bay Rays. It's a bar murder, man. You tip your hat and you move on. Game 3 is coming up in both the NBA Finals and the Stanley Cup Final with the team, 1-1. And you saw what the Florida Panthers were able to do, winning Game 2 against Edmonton after falling in overtime in Game 1. Draisaitl scores the winner in Game 1. Game 2, Brad Marchand scores the game winner. You can't replace playoff production. You can't replace the clutch gene and consistency and just that veteran leadership. The fact that the Florida Panthers were the team that got Brad Marchand, it's insane. Unbelievable that the Rat is able to do that. And he is a guy that, to tell you what, he's going to get paid for a guy that Boston did not want to pay. And I don't know why. I mean, you got to look at your surroundings. Boston, not a lot of depth, right? Outside of him and Pasternak and McAvoy and Swayman in goal, not a ton of guys. And, you're thinking, do I really want to pay this guy? Yeah, you probably should. How do you not go back to Florida if you're Brad Marchand after this postseason run? I mean, this is a perfect team. This is a team that's going to rely on you for exactly what you do well, right? Help on the power play a little bit, help on the PK a little bit, play second, third line minutes. Nobody's going to be like, oh, man, he's too old. He's not playing on the first line, bro. They got plenty of players to do that. If I'm him, that makes a lot of sense. No issues there at all. And then OKC bounces back in a big way after a thrilling Game 1 victory for the Indiana Pacers. You may not like Tyrese Halliburton, but my goodness, that dude has the clutch gene. And if he is engaged and he is playing, even if he doesn't play well, at the end of the game, he's got just that unconscious ability to, I don't care. I will take the shot and I might hit it. He did that at the end of Game 1. They just weren't even close in Game 2. And listen, OKC's depth, you get Caruso having a huge game last night, but you have Williams, you have Dort, you have Wallace. You have so many different guys defensively that you can run at Tyrese, you can run at Neesmith, you can run at a bunch of these guys. And then you have Chet Holmgren. I mean, this is the reason why he was such a high draft pick out of Gonzaga. A guy that can affect the game offensively, defensively, just the ability to change shots. That's something that doesn't get talked about enough when you're talking about the NBA, where the ability to change shots and the ability for guys to be able to, all right, they're going down the lane, all right, they're about to lay it up, and then they just kind of look and see who's there, and then they bring it back out, and they're like, all right, we need to reestablish. We see that a lot with Victor Wembanyama. There was a video I saw the other day on social media, it was great. It was a bunch of guys going to the hoop, and they could have had a layup, but Wemby was there, and they're like, yeah, let me bring this back out. We don't want to get embarrassed. Same thing with Chet Holmgren, and Isaiah Hartenstein was another glue guy to be able to bring in here. The Knicks, I think, they were fortunate enough to have Mitchell Robinson come back from injury, but Hartenstein's a glue guy. He's a heart and soul guy, and he feeds into everything that you got with OKC and with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander scoring 30 points in pretty much every game in the postseason. It's going to be tough. So who's got a better chance at winning Game 3? Oklahoma City goes on the road. Florida returns home. In a weird way, though, as much as I think a lot of people would say the easy answer is Florida because they're going home, I actually think the answer is OKC. And I wouldn't be surprised if OKC wins this in 5 games. There was a blueprint there in Game 2. And I think that going back to Indianapolis for Game 3, there's going to be a lot of pressure on the Pacers. They're a very well-coached team. But the fact that Tyrese Halliburton was largely ineffective and silent for like 40 minutes in Game 2, OKC can just throw so many different guys at him. What Indiana did to Jalen Brunson, Oklahoma City is now doing to Tyrese Halliburton. And when he's he has to be aggressive. When he's way too passive, and that's got to be tough for a point guard because you're getting everybody involved in the game. That's your goal. You look for your own shot, but you want to make sure that everybody else is getting touches too. And they're a team that really does a great job of moving the ball. It doesn't stick in one guy's hands. But when I look at Halliburton, if he's not looking for a shot early, man, he really he can struggle. And for a team like OKC outside of Game 1, they do a good job of extending that lead and making sure that they can do a lot of different things with a lot of different players. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. So I'm going to go with Yeah, I'll go with OKC. I think they have a better chance of winning game 3, even though it is on the road, because Indy did steal game 1. But even I don't look at that as like, oh, they stole game 1, because the Knicks stole game 1 and 2 against Boston, but they still won the series. Indy stole a game and they won that series. You got to win. You got to play a full 48. All right, let's bring him in. El Jefe, the one and only. Hold on, I'll bring it back in. Give me 1 second, buddy. I want to make sure that I have the right thing on here for you, the right overlay. There we go. We'll take this off. All right, bringing him in. There we go. El Jefe himself, University of Tampa head baseball coach Joe Urso. What's going on, my friend? How are you?
Oh, Jay, got a lot of rest yesterday. I needed it.
Good for you. What was the flight? How was getting everybody onto the plane that early in the morning Sunday? Did anybody get left behind?
So no one got left behind. We did a great job. 4 a.m. bus after a beautiful celebration with the parents, the alums, the boosters, and the players. We had a DJ, Tampa style, baby. We really did it right. Long night. Most of them just went on the bus straight from the party since it was an early 4 a.m. Bus only left 15 minutes late, so proud of the guys. We all made it home.
Nice. Yeah, that's the point for sure. What was different about this one? What was so special about this when you finally get that last out? Because this was, you and I spoke about this last night or the other night. This was a unique team, man. They had their flaws. They had guys that were very resilient. They had guys that bounced back, right? It wasn't easy. That's why I wasn't worried about after you guys lost game 1, because it was like, you guys do this the hard way. That's what you guys have done this year. What was so special about this group?
Yeah, and what was special is, you had a lot of veterans, a lot of guys in their 5th, some in their 6th year of college because of all the different rules that are going on. And, with that, I had some concern, are some of these just last hurrah? How motivated are they going to be? Well, they showed me at the end, a lot of leadership. Can't thank these guys enough. My own son, Jaire Alexander, he was just like a leader amongst men and letting the guys know that we are going to die on this field. It doesn't matter what it takes. We're not backing down. This is all of our last games, and the Nico Saladinos and the Woodburns and all the leadership that we had is what it was going to take to get through, not only the losers bracket in a regional tournament, but you get a losers bracket in the World Series. I don't know that it's been done that someone come out of it. And the way we had to do it, play 4 games in 30 hours, nothing short of abuse on the body. And we had a message about climbing a mountaintop. And when you get close, those last few, parts of that mountain are the toughest. And are we going to cave? Who's going to be the leader to get us to the top? And they got to the top the hardest way ever. And yes, this will go down as the most special championship of all. And this is why we do this job. Everyone's like, what motivates you? Well, it's something new every year. And these guys, they did the Spartans proud.
Yeah, I know what motivates you. It's right behind you on that desk back there. But yeah, I want to ask you about that because, I've known you guys for so long. I mean, I've been here 20 years. I've known you guys for a good chunk of that. And, JD, for the majority of those games and championships, he's been sitting next to me more than he's sitting next to you, right? We're supporting this team. I remember when he was thinking about going to St. Pete College and he ended up going to UT and the graduation and going from Plant and, going to Miami and then coming back and being with him last year in Cary, North Carolina. The fact that you were able to share that with him and your entire family, and he got the last out, Joe. I mean, could you have scripted this any better? Forget about the Joe Urso, the head baseball coach, but as a dad, could you have scripted this any better for your son and your family?
No, I mean, for Julie and I to be there, Preston didn't miss the moment. And for JD, the one thing I always told my kids is, you're going to earn your own ring here. You have an opportunity to earn your own ring. I'm not just going to give you one, from the past years. And now JD was able to earn his first ring as a player here. To say it has really completed a coaching journey that has been amazing. I don't know what's in store in the future. We all worry it could be the last title. I mean, these are hard to win, and we make it look easy, but you never know if you ever win another one. Right. But to be able to say look JD in the eye and to say we're champions together on the field, just brings tears to my eyes, and just one of the most special moments, like you said, forget the coach, but that a father can have with his son.
Yeah, and shout out to Julie and Preston too, but especially Julie. I mean, she's always there, man. She's always there. She's been committed to this program from day one. She's at every game. She's sitting there. You can hear when I'm watching the games when you guys are on location somewhere. I can hear Julie's. I don't know if they put the microphones near her, but she is so dedicated to this program. And man, it's so inspirational and just so cool to see. And one thing I love about you guys talk about family. And it's no joke. It's not hyperbole. It's what you build your program on. That's the secret sauce. And, to be able to see, 3/4 of your infield be kids from Tampa. And I said this before, and I'll say it again. You can't write the history of baseball in this city without Russo, without Erso, without Saladino. To be able to see those 3 kids, and you've known them even before their University of Tampa careers. I mean, for Nico to go 4 for 6, all 4 of those hits being run scoring hits in the second game. And for Cole to put the kibosh and that was the flag in the ground. We're going to be the champions, hitting that grand slam. I mean, what is that like to be able to see two kids like that? Because it's not just the kids, it's the families too that you've grown to know and love.
Yeah, and Tampa is obviously a baseball city, and you the names you just mentioned, to see their families in the stands, all in tears, when their kids had accomplished what they did in the semifinals, to see, Tony Saladino up there in tears because his grandson just knocked in every run possible for us to give us a chance to get to the final game. And we were out of steam. We were running out of pitching, and for Russo, you look up and you see his dad in tears, his stepdad in tears, and what it meant to them that their kid was able to come here, make a mark like that, a grand slam on the biggest stage, to put us within 3 outs of winning it, knowing that we were out of pitching. It's just, it really is a storybook ending.
You and Sammy, I want to know what that was like. What is it like when you're going like, all right, who do we got? Like, and you're going, hey, maybe one batter at a time with this guy. Right? This guy's not working. We got to go to this way. So what was that like? What's the discussion like when you get into those final 3 games where it's Johnny Holstaff, everybody's got to be ready. And then finally, what does it mean when you have your guy, CJ Williams, take the ball in every single one of those games? That dude just wanted it. And again, it's prophetic that he was on the mound when you guys won it all.
Yeah, for sure. And no one in college baseball does a better job of preparing his pitching staff and calling a baseball game. And Sam was ready for it. We go into each game with a plan of what order we're going to use pitchers and what situations. But nothing can prepare you for that kind of moment. Normally it's inning by inning, or maybe a certain part of the lineup that you're going to attack. But we literally were trying to attack each batter with whatever fumes certain arms had. And one of the toughest jobs of managing and coaching alongside with Sam that we've ever had, and some tough calls. But in the end, I trust in him. We've been together since day one. He had a great plan of how he was going to execute 18 innings of baseball. And wow, did he do an amazing job again with his pitching staff.
And CJ?
And CJ, the night before, knowing we were out of pitching, I sent a group text out to my pitchers just saying who's available so Sam and I can have a really good plan tomorrow on how we're going to get 18 innings in. And every one of them was like, I'm available. I got it, coach. I'm like, CJ, you just pitched almost a complete game. You're not even on 24 hours rest. He goes, I got it. And we knew, looking him in the eye, he would have 3 outs for us. And then in the semifinal game, he does it. Goes out and gets us some outs. And then after that, he goes, I have it again. And we're just like, no way. No way we're going to ask this of a pitcher. And sure enough, what a special moment. Sam and I looked at each other and were like, no one deserves this opportunity more. An All-American, our pitcher of the year, let him have that opportunity to go get those last 3 outs. And CJ did it. Just what 3 outings and, 24, 30 hours probably.
Crazy.
So, wow.
Unbelievable. All right. So I got to ask you, it's 5-1 in the 9th inning. Everybody knows what I was doing in that moment. What were you doing 5-1, ninth inning, your son striding up to the plate, knowing damn well that it could all end right here. Does that cross your mind at all? And at what point did anything switch? Was the belief always there? Was it like, and then when he got a hit, it changed? Like, take us through your process where you're playing Northwest Nazarene. They're making these crazy catches now, field guys crashing into walls. The only run you have is a solo shot from Cole. It's 5-1 in the ninth inning. What's your mindset right there?
I'll take us back to that regional tournament, come out losers bracket. I told them focus every pitch. Don't count outs because there's no time clock in baseball. Just focus every pitch. At the end, we're going to look up the scoreboard and see if we're good enough. And as much as I said that, in that moment, it was tough to believe that. You're down 5-1. You haven't touched second base. All you've done is hit a home run that was huge by Russo, and you haven't touched second base. This pitcher is absolutely dominating, going for a complete game. And then here comes a single by JD. Here comes another single. And then you feel the dugout belief. But I don't think for me, the belief happened until they went to the bullpen. And then you're like, oh boy, they may have just woke up a sleeping giant. We may still be in this game and have a chance. And sure enough, we took advantage of their bullpen. And then the biggest hit maybe in the 25 years I have seen as a head coach here, with Karstetter, a 3-run bomb to tie it in the ninth when we've had no life all game. Just this story, I'm in shock. It's you come from behind once, fine, but to do it over and over and over again, that doesn't happen in baseball. And it just shows a lot about the leadership, character of our team, how much this pride of this university means to us, and that no one was going to leave anything on that field. And that was a lot of the senior leadership that we had.
So then he gets banged up. And then the great thing about the last game was that Cole comes in, gets a bunt down. And here comes Mikey, who comes in for him. And he hits an RBI single to right center field. So it was like whoever you ended up calling on, it seemed like it worked out. And you got contributions from everybody. And I want to talk about your outfield now. Villegas wins the MVP. It could have went to a bunch of different guys. But his contributions this year, I love his stature and I love his mindset at the plate because it feels like I don't care who's on the mound. I'm the best player on the field. There's a quiet confidence about that kid when he's at the plate. Talk about what he was able to do to kind of just be that consistent guy that when you needed a big fly, he came up. When you needed a single, when you needed a walk, like that dude did whatever it took to be able to contribute to the victory.
Still talking about Karstetter because I got crossed up there a little bit with the screen went blank on me.
Villegas.
Okay. Sorry about that. I'm glad I asked.
You're good.
Just answering. So Villegas comes to us in January, a spring only guy, not easy to do. And immediately the players just take to him. And the most talented guy on the field. I told Sam and Jose when we recruited him, as soon as I get this guy on campus, he immediately becomes our most electric player that we have on this roster. And he proved us right. I mean, he came up in some big moments, clutch hits, 4 home runs in the World Series. Just can't say enough about his talent, but to show up on the big stage when we needed him most, just really proud of him and what he was able to do in just 6 months as a Spartan.
I'm always a big believer that some of your best rallies happen when it's 8-9-1 rather than 1-2-3, because you get that 9-hitter on, holy smokes, then you start playing a different ball game. To have Maddox King there at the 9-hole, again, another legacy guy, won a championship last year, unbelievable defense with some of the crazy catches at the walls this year. And then Jordan Williams, another 2 Tampa kids right there. And Jordan, the speed. Talk about what Maddox has been able to do and also the defense. And then tell me about Jordan Williams. You send him from second base on a sacrifice fly, which I think is probably one of the more under the radar type plays that led to the championship.
Yeah, I mean, Maddox King, he's known to be the best defensive center fielder we've had in a long time here, and we've had some really good ones. So hats off to him. But how hard he's worked on the offensive end to be able to do what he did this year. I mean, he had over 300 in that World Series and was on base all the time with walks, came up in situational hitting times where I needed a bunt down. He got it down for us. So he truly was doing it all. And had a big walk there late for us as well, as we rallied. So he did it all for us. And Jordan Williams, really when he went is when our offense went. And leading off every game, once he gets on, and I would tell him, you don't always have to steal a base to create the havoc. They're going to throw a good fastball for us to hit a double or home run with just because you're on base and they have to be so quick to the plate. But he changed the game. You know, the St. Louis Cardinals and Whitey Herzog days are some of my favorite teams that I watch. And to have a guy just like that, a Vince Coleman type player on my roster, he's at second base, and I see JD's fly ball going to deep center at 400. And immediately the first thing through my mind is, if this center fielder's lazy, I'm scoring this kid from second base. And Jordan didn't slow down. The center fielder gave us just enough of a bad throw to make it bang, bang at the plate. But the kid is a baseball player and absolutely flies, but can do it all. And what a big moment to have a sac fly from second base.
Unbelievable. And that's, I think that's the hard thing to like defend with your team, right? Is nobody on your team was like, you didn't have one guy on your team that was like, all right, this guy had 20 bombs or that, right? Like there was just so many different ways to beat you, so many different ways that you could beat these other teams. And I mentioned this before you came on, I said, we went to lunch at Outback before the season and we were kind of looking over and we were going over the team and you were just like, on paper, there's just a lot of guys there's only 9 of them can play. Did you think that it was going to go like this as far as, of course, your goal is always the championship game, but how the team kind of worked itself out? Is it always the way that you think it's going to be? Like, did everything go according to plan, or was this one of those years where just kind of the way it played out, you kind of had to mix and match and find the right equation as the year went on?
Yeah. I mean, everybody on this roster on a certain day would step up. It was always someone new. Team depth was going to be the strength of this team from that meeting I had with you at the Outback. We talked about it. But then we go out and preseason, with all the different lawsuits and everything, I lose 2 of the biggest home run hitters that were ever going to come to Division II baseball. And so some people were like, oh, are they going to have enough now? And then just the depth throughout the team showed up when we needed it most. I think the 1 through 9 and having that bench is what really got us through, because it was a lot of baseball there at the end, and we had to call on a lot of different names. So not many people have the depth that we had this year, and that was what got us through.
Talk to me about the coaching staff outside of Sammy and Jose, some of the guys that maybe doing the behind the scenes work, the guys from the alumni, and, Russ Bruno's a guy I was spending time with, talking to him yesterday. I mean, that's what I love so much about this program is it's not just the 9 guys on the field. It's not just the players. It's not just you, Sammy and Jose. Like, there's a lot that goes into it. I think I realized it at the ring ceremony last year when you were like, Jay, I got a long list. And I go, it can't be that long. And then 40 minutes later, I go, this guy touched on everything. But take this time, if you can, to talk about some of those other coaches that we may not hear about, and the alumni and the boosters and some of the other people just involved that help get you guys to this point.
Yeah, well, you talk about, the Bull Gators at Florida. Well, these Spartans that we have over here, I mean, we got a couple really just big hitters that make sure I have all the resources possible to be successful. And, Russ Bruno, you mentioned him. I call him the GM of the program. He calls me most mornings, and we're going through what we need. And he's always there for me to reach out. Fred Pollock, Steve Malden, who was there with us. Fred Pollock was there. Stu Williams. I mean, they're just some big time Spartan alums that will make sure that we have the resources. And, obviously the great Tino Martinez and what his family and that Rini Martinez Golf Classic does for our program each year. It truly does take a village. We talked about the ring ceremony. Going to the World Series, I reached out to all the championship teams. There had been 9 of them. Obviously, now we got 10. All of them, including last year's group, who don't even really have jobs yet. And I asked them, can you guys help? We're going to be the 300 Spartan Club. I need $300 from as many of you as possible to make sure this World Series I can run first class and bring the whole team. We had a party of 49. NCAA only pays for 30. And then here comes all those championship teams. We raised $20,000 in 3 days because of these guys. So it's not just the select, 4 or 5 that I mentioned at the top. It truly does take a village to be successful and to run a program like we're running. And it's nothing short of a dynasty. I pinch myself every day, and I don't take it for granted. I hope we can keep it going. But number 10, Jay, can you believe it? Number 10, and you were there for it. And, down to our last out so many times, but these guys believed in themselves.
How about the other coaches on the staff? Because there's a bunch of guys in the dugout. I know even in some of the players that don't even get into the games, like everybody is focused and everybody has a job to help you guys.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we talk a lot about, Coach Sam and the pitching staff. Coach Jose probably puts in more hours than anyone in the country at any level. He's here first thing in the morning, running down video, getting prepared for his spray charts, for our defense, for the hitters to know what kind of pitcher we're facing, and just goes above and beyond. Christopher Rosenbaum, the only advanced scout in college baseball, probably even at the Division I level. But, I've been able to utilize him to his strengths. He did this on the major league scale. He was an advanced scout with the Nationals and the Astros, and he goes a week ahead of me to get me prepared for the team we're about to play. Scott McNulty, who has been working at the university longer than I have as a volunteer, throwing batting practice, working with our infielders, outfielders, whatever it takes. I mean, it's just amazing that they put in so much for us each year. Our head JV coach, Mark Johnson, 25 years as well with me. Wow. and helping develop these young guys and my freshmen when I send them down for games. So the list goes on and on. Our strength coach, Roberto Mena, our trainer, Scott Brickett, to get these guys through that many games in 30 hours. I'm just amazed of what all of them, most have been there. They have graduated from the university. So all of them have an extra pride about what we've been able to accomplish to keep this tradition going. And I truly think that is our lifeline. It's we all bleed Spartan red.
And I got to ask you about the most popular person wearing a Tampa Spartans uniform, and that is Coop. Like, how great is it to have the greatest bat boy on the planet? He is so smart. He knows when to go in to get the bat, knows when to get the stuff. He shows love everybody. I mean, to have Jose's son Coop out there, I mean, it's another wrinkle to this team that really accentuates how important family is.
Yeah, I mean, nothing can be more cute than a kid wearing the game day uniform of the team all the time. And, he would call me, Jojo, what uniforms are we wearing today? And then he would call, later in the year, Jojo, can I be the bat boy today? And he would ask every day, can I be the bat boy today? Of course. Can I be the bat boy? Well, it got to the point that when he wasn't the bat boy, we lost. So the team would call and say, "Hey, Cooper's coming, right? Cooper's going to be the bat boy, right?" So when Jose asked, are they going to allow him to do this in the World Series? I said they have no choice. Well, this team believes in Cooper, and he's going to go. And he is so mature in that dugout. He allows his dad to do his work. He doesn't bother him, and just so mature. And to hear the crowd every time he goes to pick up a bat or a helmet yelling Coop and him signaling, it's was a great moment for his family and for me, because he's grown up, around us, just like, my kids grew up around the game, just like Sam's daughter grew up around the game. His kids are growing up around the game. They're Spartans, and this means everything to them. Our success is their success, and Cooper and Penelope, his sister, in the stands cheering crazy, but Cooper was a fan favorite, and he was able to throw out the first pitch in the final game. So he's going to have a one-up on a lot of bat boys moving forward.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And I love it. He's very workmanlike about it. Like, even when they give him Coop, he's like, yeah, showing you guys love. I got to get back to the dugout. And you're right. Penelope, she was out there throwing the ball around. She was running the roost outside of the field when you guys were playing and the kids were playing, wall ball and everything. It was just a lot of great stuff, man. Joe Urso, the head coach of our University of Tampa Spartans, 10 national championships, my friend. Congratulations. Couldn't happen to a better coach, to a better human being. Thank you personally for your friendship and your mentorship, and just to be able to be there for the last two. And to, I say this a lot, we're so lucky to be able to have people in our lives that graduate from like friends to family. You guys, going back to my coaching days, have always been so just unbelievable to me. And I hope that I reciprocate that and, show you guys the love and support that you so, deserve. And just to every single time I go there, you guys are so welcoming and you make me feel like part of the family, not just the Spartans family, but the Urso family. And the fact that JD was able to win one and that Julie and Preston were there and the Russos and the Saladinos, like, it's tough being away from my family, but when I get to experience the moments like this past weekend, like it just shows to me that I'm in the right place. So great things happen to great people, and they don't make them much better than you, my friend. So thank you so much. Congratulations. I wouldn't get crapped on by a bird for pretty much anybody else on this planet for you and the boys. So I know you got to get back. Julie's running around like a maniac, getting the house ready for everything later on today. I'll see you later on, my friend. Thank you so much for your time. And again, congratulations on everything.
Thank you, Jay. And thank you for what you mean to Tampa Bay sports. You truly are there for us every time, not just the Spartans, but anytime there's a big moment, you're there for us. And we all appreciate it.
Thank you, brother. All right. Talk to you soon. Thanks, pal.
Thanks.
You got it. The GOAT, legitimately the GOAT, the legend, the one and only Joe Urso. Listen, man, 10 championships, 10. You know what we say here, this ain't no Mickey Mouse. That's the truth. My goodness. And again, great things happening to great people. What a fantastic weekend for sports in the Tampa Bay area to be able to see Joe and the Spartans and Sammy and Jose. It's just so many things had to go right, but it only goes right if you get complete buy-in, if you get complete belief, even when things are bleak. Right? It's easy to be confident. It's easy to be optimistic when everything is going your way. But when it doesn't go your way, that's when your true mettle, that's when everything, your true resiliency is tested. And man, they absolutely crushed it. So congratulations to Joe and our University of Tampa Spartans. You earned it. 10 championships. Unbelievable. Just want to make sure I got everything. Jordyn Listro is going to join us here momentarily. Just want to make sure I got everything else. All right. Jaire Alexander. I know there was people asking about Jaire Alexander. Jaire Alexander getting let go by the Green Bay Packers today. Is that an option for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? Let me stop it right there. No, it's not. Listen, good player. No doubt about it. There were some talks of him getting traded to Buffalo, but you have to understand, if you bring in a guy like Jaire Alexander, you're going to have to pay the dude, right? And I just don't know, with the way that the Buccaneers have been able to put this team together right now, are you going to bring in a guy like Jaire Alexander that's going to be a starter? No, you're not, because right now, as everything is according to plan, you have Zion McCollum and Jamel Dean as your starters week one. Whether you agree with it, whether you disagree with it, listen, when he's healthy, Jamel Dean, and I think on a team like this with a better pass rush, where you can play more of that press coverage, which suits him, which is his strength, because he's a bigger guy, everybody complains about them playing off a lot. And I understand that. But if you can't get to the passer, you can't play press coverage, and then the quarterback's back there for 5-6 seconds, and then you're getting beat over the top the entire time. So going into this season, right? And this isn't a question of, is Jaire Alexander better than one guy or the other? We understand he's one of the better corners when he's at his best. But right now, the way that this team is constructed, you have Jamel Dean on one side, you have Zion on the other side, right? You went out and got Benjamin Morrison with your second round pick. You have Jacob Parrish, right? You're also getting Bryce Hall. He's back in the mix as well. You know what you're getting in the secondary with the other safeties and with these other, obviously with Tyke Smith, Antoine Winfield Jr., what happens with Christian Izzian. You have more numbers to throw at this entire process. So while Jaire Alexander, just looking at him as one individual player, it would be fun to have him here. He's probably still got a ton left in the tank. But as far as it being a fit, here for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It just doesn't make much sense. And I'm sure they'll talk about that a little bit later on today, 4 o'clock. Jason Light is going to join our friends at Pewter Report, Scott Reynolds and the crew. So make sure you go check that out, pewterreport.com. They have all the information over there. Whew, man, so many good vibes, so many good things going on here in the Tampa Bay area. No doubt about it, with the Rays winning 2 of 3, right? We also see what UT has been able to do with the national championship, and there's no reason why we shouldn't be happy and optimistic, and why this shouldn't be a Victory Monday. It is a Championship Monday, and I'm thinking that next Monday is going to be Championship Monday. Let's bring her in a little bit early. Hold on, let me make sure I get the right. There you go. Tampa Bay Sun captain on the program, Jordyn Listro, with us. What's going on? How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Oh, listen, when I'm up there in North Carolina and they're like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm keeping an eye on my son right now. I mean, to see where this team has come from. And listen, I interviewed you before I think you guys even had a name. And now you're at the point where that you are 1 win away from winning the inaugural championship in the USL Super League. Like, how can you put that into words for me if you can?
I mean, it's surreal, honestly. But we could see that. Like, once we got into the spring season, we just saw every week that we were getting better and better and better, and everything was kind of falling into place. And so we've been doing a great job individually and collectively. And yeah, we have 1 more to go.
So what was it like knowing that, because by all accounts, I think a lot of the belief was, all right, you're probably going to have to go play this championship game on the road. And then here comes Fort Lauderdale and they win. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, wait, we're hosting this game Saturday night at the Riverfront. Like, what was that like to see that going? Not only are we playing for the championship, but we're playing on our own home field. That's got to be special.
Yeah, to get the win against Dallas at home was huge. But I mean, we all were like, okay, this was our last game in front of our fans. And then yesterday we were all in our group chat, like, okay, we were packing our bags. Yes, we're going to North Carolina. And then Fort Lauderdale scored. And we were like, okay, here we go. It's what we wanted. We want to be at home in front of our fans and our families. So yeah, we're just so excited and so ready.
What you mentioned that it turned and the spring season was so much different for you, but what, as far as, was there any mindset? What changed with the group knowing like, hey, you were kind of on the border of like, are you going to make the playoffs? You're not going to make the playoffs. And then it just seemed like every single time you guys were out there, you were picking up results, you're picking up wins, you're picking up points. And it was like, oh snap. Like, they're not just winning, like they're on a little bit of a streak here. What was there, a mindset change? Was there a realization that you could do it? Like, take us through what shifted for you gals.
I think everything just started to come together in training too. You could see us getting better and gelling more as a team and figuring out, each other on the field. But for sure, there was a mentality shift. I mean, we know that we can score goals. So even if we get scored on first, we know that we can come back and win games. And you've seen that throughout the spring season. So now it's not, we're not nervous when we get scored on. It's like, okay, we'll just get another one. So I think that mentality has been huge for us.
What about yourself? I mean, there is and they always say, heavy is the head that holds the crown. And, you're wearing the captain's armband, right? And there's something different about that, I think, in soccer that maybe, if our fans out there that are watching don't necessarily know, like, it's, hockey, you have the C, you have a couple guys wearing the A. So it's a very proud thing to be able to wear the C for hockey, but you also have an assistance, and it's a little bit more of kind of a leadership council. When you're wearing that captain's armband, it's you. You're the one talking to the refs. You're the one. I mean, what does that mean to you to be able to know that you're the one, like, you're the captain of this team? Like, this is the first women's professional sports team in Tampa. Like, I said this to you the first time I met you. Like, people are always going to remember you. And I don't know if you realize that now, but when 100 years from now, there's going to be little girls playing soccer going, yeah, my grandma's favorite player was Jordyn Listro back in the day. Yeah, 100 years from now, you and I won't be here by then, but people are going to look back like in the annals of history, and they're going to say that, Jordyn Listro was the captain of our Tampa Bay Sun. Like, what does that mean to you, and how has your responsibility changed over the season?
It's a huge honor, honestly, and I don't take it lightly every single game. I mean, I want to win so bad for this city and just for this group of girls. I've said it a million times, but we have such a special group of people, and we didn't want the ride to end early because, you know, we're never going to be the same 25, 26 players ever again. So, yeah, we wanted to make our mark and we want to win the whole thing. But yeah, I think in the last game too, I just knew that when it was getting close to the end, like I needed to give everything I had vocally too, to just, there were subs and I needed to encourage them and make sure everyone was locked in, because it's easy to switch off for those last 5 minutes thinking that, you know, we have it in the bag and then they get one lucky free kick and the ball goes back in the net and then we're in overtime. So yeah, I just told myself to just give absolutely everything I have, and I plan to do that for the next game as well.
Yeah, no doubt about it. We all believe that you're going to be, you know, on the forefront of everything. That's the scary part. And people say when they look at soccer, and you may not be a huge fan out there, I'm sure you are now if you watch the show, but when it's a 1-0 game or a 2-1 game, it sometimes it comes down to a corner, right? Comes down to a free kick. Oh, you're controlling possession. You got possession 70% of the time. And all of a sudden somebody has a foul just outside the 18-yard box. And then all the alerts go, right? Everything goes like, oh my goodness. So to be able to have that fortitude and to be able to have that strength, it's amazing. Who are some of the players you think that have helped in the last couple of just weeks to be able to kind of send this in the right direction? Because the roster is different from the beginning. Obviously, Erica's not with you guys anymore. And, you know, the roster has changed a little bit. I mean, who are some of the players now that have kind of like changed the tide for the team over the last couple of weeks or so?
Yeah, I think everyone in their own right has. I mean, individually, everyone has performed to the best of their abilities, and you can't ask for more because that makes the biggest difference. When everyone's on, the whole team is on. So I think you see that in our forward line. I mean, they're relentless, taking shots, crosses, scoring goals, taking players on. So our entire front line has been incredible. Flo, Marcelo, Carly, I mean, incredible. And then our midfield, I mean, Jade helps me in the leadership role as well and keeps me calm and sane. So he's great to have.
Wait a second. Keep you calm and sane? You seem so mild-mannered and so even-keeled. What is it? So give me a peek inside the craziness of Jordyn Listro then.
Oh, I don't know. I get rage sometimes on the field and just
it's always the quiet ones you got to worry about. Oh my God.
And I'm just really hyper sometimes. And like, I mean, those last 5 minutes of the last game, I was screaming on the top of my lungs. So
really?
Yeah. Yes. But no, she keeps me calm and keeps my head in it for sure. And then Tosh Flynn, I mean, has shown up time and time again for us, like in the moments that we need it most. I couldn't watch her PK, but I knew she was going to score, but I still couldn't watch it because I was so nervous. But of course she did. And then our back line, I mean, they've been rocks, like Paige and Dory sprinting up and down the flanks. And then Viv and Brooke Hendricks have killed it and just been solid. And then Orcus stepped up again. So yeah, I mean, everyone has just been on it, and it's so nice to see.
So when does this competitive side come out in any other times? Like, I mean, your husband, who again, my favorite golfer now, wearing the Alex Killorn jersey, and then you know I had to bring it up, but Christian DeMarco, if you guys haven't seen the video of him walking with Alex Killorn jersey, again, unbelievable. It's such a great video, and it's so funny that your comment, you're like, no, go Leafs, go, which is so hilarious.
Especially at home in Toronto. Come on. Don't be disrespectful.
He's sleeping on the couch, Christian. Sorry, buddy. Yeah. But what can he tell us? Like, when do you get competitive during board games? When you decide what to have for dinner? Like, when does that come out outside of the football, off the football pitch?
Always. My sister even will tell you when I was a kid, I had to cheat to win any board game, any game, or I would be miserable for the whole day. And he knows that. My husband always says, like, it's not a competition, Jordyn. Like, it's okay. I'm like, no, like it is. Like, I need to win this argument or I need to win this. So yeah, he knows that. But I don't know. The other teams have been chirping at me lately saying I'm
really
pretty psycho. So yeah, I don't know. They've seen it too lately. So
what are they chirping? Are they chirping about you're going crazy, or are they chirping about other things?
I think the red card gave them, just some great things to talk about. So that's what I've been getting lately, but it's okay.
Oh, so they're trying to like urge you on to get another one. They're trying to see if they can prey on your emotions here.
Yeah, maybe, but it's okay.
You got to balance it out. I'm not worried about it. It's the quiet ones you do have to worry about. So who wins the argument at home? Like dinner or what you're going to watch on TV? Who wins those arguments?
Dinner is for sure me. I take dinner very seriously. I'm a foodie, so
yeah, we've talked about that before. I should have known that answer.
And TV, I really don't care about, so I'll let him win that. He is definitely more of a TV person. I don't really watch that much TV, so he can watch whatever he wants.
What does he watch? Is he a sports guy? Is he a Netflix guy?
Everything. I mean, that man has a new series every week and is on the plane watching episodes on episodes, and I'm texting him like, "Oh, you get the Wi-Fi? Flight going well?" Locked into a TV show. So, yeah.
How does that balance too, Jordyn? I mean, with obviously two professional athletes and a lot of traveling, a lot of work because you're both still playing. How is that schedule? How is that communication? And like, because it's you guys are both like really performing at a high level.
Yeah, it's awesome. I mean, we both really motivate each other every single day, and I wouldn't be here without him. And I think he would say the same about me, but it was so nice last week. He was in his first PGA Tour event. And I mean, you couldn't have written it better. It was in my hometown of Toronto. Mm-hmm. So my entire family got to go watch. His parents flew in and, both of our families were there watching him. Unfortunately, I couldn't be there, but yeah, it's just special. And so then he flew back for our semifinal game. So it's so nice to have him in the stands, and then both of our families will be there this weekend. So yeah, it's just a great time right now for us. So very grateful.
Unbelievable, man. We're just so proud of both of you, obviously. And the USF ties were obviously great too, as well. And you mentioned Sydney Nasello, because I remember interviewing her when she was at USF, and you have Coach as well. I mean, how great is that to be able to have so many people here from the Tampa Bay area? It's one thing, when you have people and you're representing the Tampa Bay Sun, but when you have that extra tie-in with the Bulls, I mean, what is that like to be able to have green and gold fans to be able to come back and people that were cheering you on there for the Bulls and now here for the Sun?
Yeah, I mean, we love the support, but it just means something so much more that we have such a connection with this city. And I don't know, every time we're down a goal, I can like feel the pain physically. And so I think she feels that it's true. And I think she feels that way too. Denise feels that way. And then obviously playing for our college coach is something that I'd never thought I would get to experience. So there's just so many emotions in that as well.
What are the next couple of days like? I mean, obviously, I'm sure you're like me, if you could snap your fingers, it'd be Saturday and the game would be here. What is the focus? What is the idea for these next couple of days? Because obviously, I'm sure I don't want to put words in your mouth, but you probably don't want to make too much of it. You just probably practice just like you would any other week. But it's a lot easier said than done when you know what kind of lies at the end of the road there.
Yeah, I think just keeping everything as normal as possible and just the same routine, and that it makes it nice that we're at home because we can just continue the same thing and act like it's just a regular game. So yeah, we have training tomorrow, night training Wednesday, and then off Thursday, pre-game training on Friday, and then we go Saturday. So same type of schedule, not changing anything, doing all the right things recovery-wise, and we'll be ready to go.
If you could script out Saturday, how would it go? Would it be a close one? Would it be it would 3-0, nice and easy kind of thing? Life is not like that, but I mean,
I mean, I would love to get on the board first and have it be a 3-0 win, because it is so much stress trying to hold a lead, such a close lead, or especially when last game we got scored on first. It's like, okay, come on, we really need to dig deep here. So yeah, a clean sheet and a 3-0 win would be delightful.
And maybe get on the scoreboard. What do you think?
I mean, last time we played Fort Lauderdale, I did. So you better make sure that you're not watching in that very moment. And yeah.
I mean, and before I let you go, I mean, just to talk about this entire season, I mean, what would you change? Is there anything you would change about this? I mean, you were the first person that I think get interviewed as a member of this team. And just to be able to be and see going from last calendar year to now, like, oh my God, it's June 9th. I mean, could you have scripted this anything better with an opportunity on Saturday to make history?
I mean, no. Would it have been nice to win the league and win the Shield? Yes. But I mean, this is where it all matters. And to be at home in front of our fans, I mean, to bring the championship back to Tampa would be incredible. So, yeah, we're going to do our best.
Well, it's Tampa Bay for a reason, and it's not Champaronto or whatever. That would be – I had to throw the dig in there for the Leafs.
Oh,
I mean,
God.
All right, I'll ask you a Leafs question before I go. Do you think Mitch Marner comes back to the Leafs next season?
I don't think so.
You think he's done for?
Yeah, I don't know. He's just – I don't know if he shows up for the big moments, but I like him. But
he seems like a good player.
Yeah.
Not in the play. And you know what's funny? Nobody's talking about this, but John Cooper's like favorite player outside of the Lightning players are Mitch Marner. So if the Lightning make a big trade, maybe they open up some cap room and bring Mitch Marner here. You never know. He
Maybe
sees
I'll
all
be a
the
Lightning fan.
I don't know about that. It's going to take a lot more than Mitch Marner. If your husband's walking around with an Alex Killorn jersey and that doesn't even do it, what would it take for you to switch allegiances from the Leafs to the Lightning?
Okay, first of all, Alex Killorn is Canadian, so that's like it's okay. I didn't love the jersey choice, but it's okay that he's supporting a Canadian.
Okay.
But no, nothing will make me switch. I mean, I'm a Leafs.
I thought when you started that there was going to be like, all right, well, if this, and happens, you said that about Killorn, you're like, no, there's nothing.
Yeah,
like,
no.
Not going to
We're
happen.
crazy, Toronto fans are crazy about hockey, so I don't think you'd switch anyone.
So Toronto, you're a Toronto fan, Toronto native. So you would rather the Oilers win, because we were talking about this yesterday. You'd rather the Oilers win over the Panthers? Is that where your Canadian over U.S. allegiance comes? Or is it like, no, if it's not the Leafs, I don't want any team? How does that go?
No, I definitely would choose a Canadian team first, but actually my best friend's brother-in-law is Zach Hyman, and he's on the Oilers.
Okay.
So I'm definitely rooting for the Oilers now.
Yeah, it's funny. Somebody asked me that the other day. They're like, oh, you want Florida, right? Because you're American. And I'm like, no, I don't like the Panthers at all. They're one of the Lightning's biggest rivals. Let Connor McDavid win. I don't really care about the U.S. Canadian stuff. So it is what it is. So we're on the same page when it comes to that. And it sucks that Hyman is hurt. So hopefully the Oilers can win it for him. And would you say your best friend's brother-in-law?
Yes.
There you go. That's pretty good. Unbelievable. Yeah. Jordyn Listro, captain of our Tampa Bay Sun. Thank you so much for making so much time for me the last couple of months. You know, I support you and the crew. I'm so happy that you're at this point and you have an opportunity to you already have made history, but to be able to play in the first ever championship game. Great things happen to great people. There's not many better than you. Give my love to Christian and the entire family. And see you guys out there Saturday night. Best of luck to you in the sun.
Yes, thank you so much.
Got it. All right. Jordyn Listro, unbelievable. The Tampa Bay Sun. Whew, incredible season for them. Incredible. All right, so let's get to a couple of things real quick before we roll out, and it is time for some quick hits from over the weekend. Let's talk about some of the things we haven't gotten to yet. All right, first off, CR7 and Portugal prevail, Nations League champions. The Portuguese beat Spain, and I tell you what, Spain against France, it was a 5-4 game. Nuts. Portugal beat Germany to get there. And then a late goal in the 61st minute, I think it was, by Cristiano Ronaldo, who ends up scoring again. They take it to PKs. Who was it? Alvaro Morata stopped. His shot got stopped. And Portugal scored all 5 to be able to take it home. Second time winning the Nations League. And it's funny with soccer how after the season is over, you still see like international competition and these guys out there and giving it all for their country. Unfortunately for the U.S., you have a lot of guys that are opting out and not playing in the summer. And Landon Donovan is a guy that's coming out and saying, I can't believe, look at the difference. Bruno Fernandes and Cristiano Ronaldo are out there. But I mean, Landon Donovan himself took a break in the middle of his career because there was a lot. But we're going to need some big-time commitments, and we're going to need these guys to step up. Weston McKennie and Musa and Christian Pulisic and Anthony Robinson. Like, all these guys are going to have to step up, because if you want to talk about yourselves like a golden era of soccer, you're going to have to show up and you're going to have to win when it counts. Got to be better. Got to be better. Also, WWE Money in the Bank winners. I don't know if you guys saw it on Saturday, but Naomi wins it for the women. I was a little surprised there wasn't a Jordyn Grace popping out and helping out her former best friend from TNA, but great to see Naomi win it. That storyline's been really good with her and Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill. Been in the business for 16 years, and this is the best run she's been on. Orlando girl, she's won the championship before, but this is a little different. She's been really good. I love this new heel turn for her. And then Seth Rollins on the guy side, getting some help from Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed, and the big turn, Jacob Fatu on Solo Sikoa saying, "I hate you, Solo." That was big time. And then the return of Ron Killings, not R-Truth, Ron Killings in the tag team main event between John Cena and Logan Paul against Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso. I mean, you want to get Cena booed and continue putting him out there with Logan Paul. I don't think that's a terrible idea at all. Not R-Truth, Ron Killings comes back. Maybe it's a little bit less of a jokester. You get more of a serious Ron Killings like we saw in the beginning of his WWE run, maybe back in his TNA days when he was the champ there. I like it, and I like that the WWE brass listened to not only the superstars but also the fans. He's a guy that he doesn't have to be on TV a lot. Just having him every once in a while pop up and do a lot of things out in the public, I don't think that's a bad thing at all. UFC 316 takeaways. Juliana Pena loses to Kayla Harrison, setting up a big matchup with Amanda Nunes. Amanda Nunes, the greatest of all time, beating Miesha Tate, beating Ronda Rousey, beating Holly Holm, beating Valentina Shevchenko, beating Cyborg. Like, that's a tremendous resume. That's being rivaled probably by only John Jones. But Kayla Harrison has been a beast for a long time, and it takes her a lot of work to be able to get down to 135. If you've seen the pictures with Kayla Harrison, 135, she does a lot of damage to herself. It's pretty crazy. That's going to be an unbelievable matchup. And then Merab Balashvili beats Sugar Sean O'Malley. Everybody riding the Sean O'Malley's hype train, but still, ground game not great. And Merab is a freaking monster. He's a maniac, that guy. He is. And the North-South choke, which really doesn't beat a lot of people now, gets Sugar Sean. He's going to go back to the line. He'll probably get another chance when somebody else is the champ, but I love Merab. He's a freaking maniac. And then finally, an epic French Open final. I don't know if you guys saw this, but I was watching in the airport yesterday. Carlos Alcaraz against Yannick Sinner. The finals there at Roland Garros. Alcaraz is down two sets to none. Comes back. Then he's down 5-3 in a set. He breaks. He comes back. And then Sinner comes back to force a tiebreak there in the fifth set. And Alcaraz he won the first 6 or 7 points. I started to get on the plane after that. But just, wow. Some of the shots that these guys were hitting. Is this the new kind of rivalry for tennis? I mean, we're on that next level now. We're at that next stage where for a while we were on Federer and Nadal and Djokovic. And now we're kind of looking for that next group of players. Shout out to Coco Gauff for winning on the women's side, beating Sabalenka. I didn't really like some of the comments from Sabalenka. It sounded like she was making excuses. I mean, you got beat. At the end of the day, whether it's winners or unforced errors, like, you got beat. It's one-on-one. You blame yourself, fine, but that's part of the game. So Coco Gauff wins on the female side. Youngsters winning, right? 22-21 or 21-20. They're going to be around for a long time, but I just love Alcaraz's game. And I thought the coverage was fantastic on TNT. For many years, it's on ESPN. I thought the TNT coverage and having Andre Agassi, my favorite tennis player of all time there, I thought it just added a little something extra as well. David Terry, Knowles got slapped around by the Beavers. Better luck next year. Shout out to all of our Knowles from the Tampa Bay area, Joey Vellini and Jamie Arnold and Wes Mendez. I was going to call him Wes Mantooth from the Anchorman days, but just the way it goes, man. What a show today. What a great show today. Buccaneers mandatory mini camp tomorrow morning. I'll be out there, so make sure you follow me at Recher. Plenty to go around. I saw something earlier, and it was in the middle of the conversation. I wanted to show it. I think my guy Eric Marino, where you at? There you go, pal. Let's just start anyway. Eric Marino, Jay, I can't thank you enough for the support from my dad. It really means a lot. Eric, thank you, brother. Thank you so much for the $5 super chat, and thank you for the kind words. That's why we're here. on the Recher podcast. We talk a little bit of everything here on the program. Shout Max Crozier and Jack Finley, also two guys that got signed to 3-year deals for the Lightning worth $775. That's a great thing to see. The one thing you're going to get here on the program is you're not going to get the same shit every day, right? You're going to get people on this show that are Team Tampa Bay all the way. And we're going to talk about stuff outside of Tampa as well. But you're not going to get the same things every single day. We're going to talk soccer. We're going to talk wrestling. We're going to talk MMA. Of course, we're going to talk football, hockey, baseball, basketball, everything here on the program. But that is what the Recher podcast is all about. Every day at noon, we talk a little bit of everything. College sports, it doesn't matter. And that's part of the reason. Like, do I miss being on the radio? Yes. But I don't like the format of like topic A and resetting and having to talk about the same shit every hour. Like, shit is corny. You can go back and listen to it, right? So why, like, to me, talking about the Bucks every single day at the top of the show doesn't make sense if there's no new news about it. Sorry. I don't think everybody wants to hear the same show all the time. You want to talk about things that are different. We're obviously going to talk about the Bucks every Monday during the season. And when there's big news on the weekend, we understand that the Buccaneers are the king and the NFL is the king. I get that. But when there's other shit going on, we're not going to have Mount Rushmore discussions or best athletes that did this or didn't do this. Like, that shit is lame. There's plenty of things to talk about. We did that during the pandemic, and we're going to do it right here on the Recher podcast. We're going to continue to get guests on the program. We're going to continue to push the conversation forward. We're going to continue to show love to people here in the Tampa Bay area. And I appreciate all the love and support from all of you. Follow me, all social media platforms, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, TikTok. I am everywhere. Like and subscribe on YouTube as well. Make sure you hit that subscribe. Make sure you hit that notifications bell, and we'll keep this conversation going every weekday at noon right here on the show. Big thank you to Joe Urso, Ian Beckles, and Jordyn Listro for joining me on the show. It is a Victory Monday. It's a Championship Monday. It is Tampa Bay then, now, and forever. That's a WWE slogan, but I stole it, baby, because it's Tampa Bay all day, every day. We love you all. We'll see you tomorrow at noon right here on the Recher